now listening to a Purple Crayon Productions broadcast.
The inherent nature of women to be secretive, the extent to which men go to reveal their partner's truths, and why women's past is so haunting to the male ego. These are all the things we will be talking about today on All the Pretty Girls Are Dead. Hello, my name is Raina. I'm a wannabe bio queen perpetually thinking about Ben Schwartz laughing at one of my jokes. I hope you are taking care of yourself and drinking tea and doing important work that makes you feel like you're adding a contribution to your corner of the world. What flavor tea is your favorite? That's the question of today's podcast. Mine's peppermint. I really like peppermint tea. I drink a lot of it. I strongly recommend it. Just regular peppermint tea. Do you drink tea? Call in and I don't know, tell me. Today we're going to be talking about the green ribbon, also known as the velvet ribbon in ye old England. I'm pretty sure it's the UK that calls it the velvet ribbon, the land of the Brits, British Island. And the breathing you heard at the top of today's episode was directed by a note in Carmen Maria Machado's story, The Husband Stitch, which is a wonderful adaptation of the green/velvet ribbon. As we talk about these stories, I want you to be thinking about what are the spaces you take up? What are the spaces you feel safe in? Because I think that idea of taking and giving is very relevant to this episode. So yeah, that's the goal for today. Take up some space. Take up space that you've been told you should not be taking up. Breathe in it, live in it. That's the goal for today. We've got a question and a goal. So the green ribbon is most well known from a children's book called In the Dark, Dark Room by Alvin Schwartz. I don't believe he's related to Ben Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz. Mr. Schwartz sounds so serious. It was originally a kid's story. And the gist of it, if you're not familiar, is a story about a girl named Jenny who has a green ribbon tied around her neck. And you're like, why does she have a green ribbon? Nobody knows. Her boyfriend, who she later marries, named Alfred, is like, what is that green ribbon? Just like the reader. He does not know what the green ribbon choker thing on her neck is all about. And she's like, I can't tell you. I don't want to tell you. Please do not make me tell you. It's a bad idea. It will be terrible. It will end in a horrible, massive mess. I don't want to tell you. And then she gets sick. And while she is sick, he unties the ribbon and her head falls off. Oh God, her head is decapitated from her body. That's what the ribbon did. It held her head onto her body. Absolutely terrifying stuff. Oh, so scary. So scary. Oh, so scary. And then in the original version, the British Britland velvet ribbon, I don't think it was a children's story, but it expands on her relationship with her husband. Just a little bit, but in that version, for example, he refuses to look at her as his frustration grows over her refusal to tell him what the ribbon was. There's a point where he forcibly tries to cut off the ribbon while she's resisting, and she's like, please don't cut off this ribbon. It's holding my head onto my neck.
Scary, scary, scary. Oh, so scary, scary.
And in the adaptation, The Husband Stitch, as mentioned earlier, it kind of sums up this main issue at hand. When Alfred is about to marry Jenny and he says, I feel like I know so many parts of you, and now I will know all of them. Especially in this original version of the Velvet Ribbon, there seems to be this persistent violence against Jenny. Questions about consent and our determination that this woman must be hiding something feels really relevant. What does it mean when we finally push this woman to reveal her secret and then she dies? Our persistence is what kills her. Jenny first reminds me of the femme fatale trope. The sexy, sexy, sexy woman who can get a man to do whatever she wants him to do just because she is smoking hot. Oh god, she is so hot. And Jenny is never specified to be fucking gorgeous, smoking hot, sexy woman. However, there are two characteristics that come to mind when I think of a femme fatale beyond sexy.
Sexy, sexy, sexy.
One, mystery, and two, malicious intent. Both things are relevant to Jenny. She's mysterious because there's a weird green choker ribbon around her neck and no one knows why. And two, because of that secret, there's a feeling she's hiding something terrible. Something that could be dangerous. Something that is malicious. The narrative of a woman tempting a man to his own downfall is super familiar and repetitive. Eve, for example, in the story of Adam and Eve, is a femme fatale. Circe and Clytemnestra. And in folklore, Yuki-onna, who preys on travelers in heavy snowstorms, and succubus. I always want to say succubus. I looked it up. I believe it's succubus. Succubus. Anyway, also known as a demon lover. And so the demon lover, who is sexy, sexy, sexy woman demon, sexy demon woman has sex with men, and then they die. And even Cleopatra, for example, is often described as a femme fatale. All of these women are cultural icons revolving around beauty and sex, and just sexy, sexy woman, sexy, sexy, sexy. And I love a sexy woman. And what is sexier than mystery? I mean, Edward Cullen, for example, is really sexy because he just kind of stands there and we don't know much about him. He just has really gorgeous eyes and gorgeous hair and just looks at Bella and you're like, wow, I wish that were me. He says weird things like spider monkey and it's super hot.
You better hold on tight, spider monkey.
But if Edward came up to me and then started telling me weird secrets and facts about his life, like, I don't know, he used to be obsessed with cheese and really likes Dave and Buster's and now has a wonky, fucked up knee, I don't think I would find him as attractive as when he's just kind of staring at people. I kind of get that. Like, I don't know. I guess when I have a crush on people, one of the things that feels sexy and romantic about it and hot is the fact that you don't know if they like you back. And so there's a lot of will they, won't they lead up, which is always better than the actual thing. It's the same thing with TV shows. When I'm watching TV, the will they, won't they is so much more exciting than once they're actually in a couple because it's never as climactic as you want it to be. Lead-ups are so fun. I love being on the edge of my seat. It's fantastic. There's just adrenaline and sexy, sexy fun. But at the same time, I would never assume that sexy, sexy mystery is hiding some evil intent. I mean, why would it be? And for some reason, all of those femme fatales are always out to get everyone there. Mystery is inherently linked to some malicious intent. which then leads to other concepts about truth and women, which I think is something we hear a lot about, particularly when it comes to sexual assault and this question of believing the victim. I believe women and I believe the victim is such a big and important thing, and a statement that is so important to our understanding of assault in modern day. However, the story of the Velvet Ribbon is not about a woman whose story is being denied. Jenny is not saying, this is my story, and people are like, no, that's not true, that's a lie. Instead, it's a request for silence, and that's being ignored. Jenny is saying, I don't want to tell you this part of me, and she's being forced to, which makes me think about women whose stories of assault were not intended to be shared. Particularly the women who feminists honor as brave and powerful women, like Dr. Blasey Ford. But when we're honoring them, we also must remember the hesitance that they had to come forward. Dr. Ford did not want to go public initially. She was kind of forced into it. There's a quiet, persistent violence in needing to know all of the parts of women. I think what this story tells us about girlhood and womanhood is there is so much within womanhood that is just about giving. Giving your body. Giving your space. Giving your secrets. And a lot of the time, it seems like it's just never enough. There is always more to give. To end this episode, I want to read aloud a poem. Each episode will have a little poem at the end about either the story that we cover or the themes of that episode. Untitled poem about women and truth. Outside my window, a bird is choking on a worm. At the park, a girl named Jenny hides her boyfriend in her back molars. There are never enough dentists, so instead I sit gnawing a turkey leg. It's on days like these when I'm particularly forgetful. When I think I see a therapist fucking his patient. When I think the bananas in the fruit bowl have been replaced with bloodied fingers. And my neighbor tells me there's always more to give. Today there is another spoon in the cabinet, another bra to wash. When I tell the truth, there is always food stuck in my teeth. What I am trying to say is I do not know how to let my femininity and my tongue coexist. In a childhood photo, I am painted like a woman. It's times like these when I am particularly forgetful, when there's a hen accidentally plucking out her eyes, when the sun rises like a pot of water boiling over, when I am leaving spots of blood on the couch cushions. What do you tell a girl sitting on the steps looking at her inner thighs? There is always more to give. I want to give a shout out to a collection of resources I used when creating today's podcast. If you're looking for a copy of The Green Ribbon, the most commonly used copy is written by Alvin Schwartz in The Dark Room and Other Scary Stories. Dark Room and Other Scary Stories? Dark Room. Dark Room. Yes, Dark Room. If you're looking for The Green Ribbon, it's written by Alvin Schwartz in his collection Dark Room and Other Scary Stories. In the Dark Room and Other Scary Stories. For an adaptation, look towards Carmen Maria Machado, who wrote The Husband Stitch. All sounds used were taken from Free Music Archive and freesound.org. And of course, don't forget to check out all the other content Purple Crayon Productions is releasing as part of Cryptid Girl Summer. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.
All of the pretty girls are dead. All of the pretty girls are dead. All of the girls, the pretty girls are dead. They're